The voice of bodybuilding, Bob Chick and Sugar Sean are back in the spotlight. My opinion next.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. And we're back again for another exciting episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. And we're live, and I'm sitting here with Chris, the technician, Aceto. And Chris, I got my Make America Healthy shirt on, RFK Jr., or as Megan Kelly says, RFKJ. And I did a little podcast the other day, actually, with John Romano about this topic, making America healthy again, and what Kennedy's going to do. And we talked about all the different topics that really need to be addressed. And they demonetized my video.
You're kidding me.
Swear to you. We didn't curse. We didn't say anything other than just talking about the different, industries that are poisoning us, essentially, from Fruit Loops to Skittles.
Don't say it again. You might get demonetized here.
No, it's ridiculous, though. I mean, a lot of major podcasts out there, Rogan and, Patrick Bet-David and a lot of these other really, podcasts to get millions and millions of views. They talk about these topics all the time. They must be getting demonetized all the time as well. I don't get it. I don't understand why we can't discuss how to make people healthy again. And so it's kind of weird, but I mean, that's the world we live in. No one wants to talk about anything anymore.
Do the opposite, test it. Say, do another podcast with Romano and say, promote all the things that make people unhealthy. See if it gets monetized.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know what? If you're out of shape and you're unhealthy, you're treated much better in this world than if you're actually a decent looking human being. You take care of yourself. You're lean. You have money. If you have too many good things going for you, you're a instant. They target right in on you, and they want to get rid of you. They want to shut you down. They want to silence you. They want to demonetize you. Look at Andrew Tate, what he's going through. You don't even have to like his opinions. It doesn't matter what he says. He has the right to say it because there's something called the freedom of speech, and they are going after this guy. I love DeSantis, and DeSantis also went, as soon as he landed in Florida, they were already putting pressure on DeSantis to find something to arrest him for it.
DeSantis just says what he's told to say by his lobbyists.
I it's a shame because he's a good governor too. That's the world we live in.
His claim to fame, Dave, is he kept Florida open during COVID, which was a feather in his cap. But after that, you tell me.
He did one other good thing. There was a bridge to Pine Island that went down on the hurricane, and they said it would take months to rebuild it. He rebuilt it in one day.
No.
So that was also that people loved him after that.
Two good things.
Yeah. But so a little gossip in the bodybuilding world.
He did have $250 million and lost to Trump.
It's true.
He didn't even get past first base.
No. Did you see that Patrick Bet-David, when he was on his show, he bought him a pair of shoes, like some kind of $1,000 pair of leather shoes, and he didn't take it. He's like, "No, I can't take gifts. I'm not. It's not allowed because he wears those little boots with the lifts in them.
Same boots Stallone wears.
Stallone is actually really short, right? Have you seen him in person?
I've never seen him, no.
I saw him one year. If you remember,
Dave, I only ran aground, as you recall,
Oh, in his backyard,
In
yeah.
my boat in 1995, trying to get to his house. I had
trying to stalk his house.
postcard.
Yeah, from Chris was trying to go by sea to stalk his house. Most people go by the front gate. Chris goes the other way in the backyard. No, but seriously, Stallone and Patrick Arnold, for those of you who don't remember, Patrick Arnold was the guy who created the clear, the undetectable anabolic steroid that they were all using in the Melbourne Olympics and the Sydney Olympics in Australia in 2000. Anyway, Patrick had a brother, and his brother knew Stallone, and they wanted to come out with a line of products, so supplements, and they did. They were called In Stone, and they had this pudding. It was really good. But it was not just like a pudding like mine. It was actually in a can already made. You just popped the lid.
Incredible.
It was one of the best puddings I've ever tasted. That's what actually inspired me to make my pudding. The problem is the pre-made ones like he had made are very expensive to do. That's probably why they weren't making any money off of it. But to make a long story short, Stallone was at the Arnold one year promoting the pudding. And I think that was the year that the Blackman had a booth, and we bumped into each other. It's the first time I had ever met him. He's so short that even I felt tall next to him. I'm not that tall. I'm 5'10", but he's like got to be like 5'5", right?
I don't know. I hear he's short.
Very short.
Yes, I thought he was not that short, 5'5".
Well, he's definitely probably taller than Sean Ray, but I don't know about I don't know how much taller though. Not that much. Speaking of Sean Ray and Bob Chick were at it. Yeah, it's funny how they have a podcast that they kind of meld pretty well, because Bob actually comes off looking really good when he does the podcast with Sean, because actually Bob sounds actually like he knows what he's talking about when he's talking with Sean. So so Bob had a run-in with Nick Walker, for those of you who haven't not following the whole thing, and I guess he made some comments about Nick Walker not doing well at the Olympia. And Nick Walker came back at Bob on the Fued podcast and said, "Who the heck is Bob CICHERILLO?" And Bob then came back at him. Maybe should I play the clip? I think I got the clip. Let me see. Did you watch the clip?
No, but I know there's a controversy brewing.
You watch the clip. Come on,
Dave. Dave. You'll never get my forte.
You heard about the clip. You heard
don't believe it.
You heard about the clip.
Don't believe it. Dave, I prepped 3 guys for the Arnold Classic, and I never looked at their Instagram stuff, even when they tagged me.
All right.
6 guys.
So that's actually the quote by Nick Walker. "Who the F is Bob?" And then Bob said, "I'm the guy that's going to be announcing your name in 8th place."
Well, maybe. I mean, that's not.
Let's play it.
But maybe.
Who the f is Bob? And my response first would be let me tell you who the f I am, right? I'm the guy that's going to be announcing you in 8th place at the Olympia. Okay? So that's who I am. Actually, we can bleep this up. He says, "Who the f is Bob?" And my response.
Anyway, so that was it. So Bob and him are going back and forth. They're taking shots at each other. I happen to think that, I don't think Bob said anything bad initially. I think he was just giving his opinion. I don't think people liked his opinion, and you might not agree with his opinion on Nick Walker, but he gave his opinion. I think he's entitled to give his opinion. I don't have a problem with that. Do I think that Nick Walker is going to place 8th at the Olympia? I don't think he's going to be that low. Is there a possibility he doesn't place top 5? Yeah, very good possibility. What do you think about the whole topic? I mean, we're analysts, so I mean, people get mad a lot of times when you and I come up with our own opinions, on things.
Well, I think Nick Walker should follow my advice and not pay attention to what people think of him. Whether people in their cellar, in Malaysia, who are 300 pounds and 5 feet tall and, think that they're bodybuilding experts, or somebody who's been around the block like, Sean, or
Bob.
Bob. I mean, they obviously have been around and know what they're talking about to some degree. They have their own opinions, but opinions are opinions. They're not facts. The contest has taken place. Last I checked, Nick Walker, I think, was the last time he was in the Olympia, he was 3rd. I know he hasn't competed, obviously.
Yeah.
But this is the guy coming off. his most recent Olympia 2 years ago, third place. And I will be the first to agree that he does not have the best V-taper in the competition, but competitions can be won without the best V-taper, period. It's still about muscle. It's still about condition. It's still about how he looks in the side chest, in the front double, in the front lat spread. I think he has one weak pose, the front lat spread.
Yeah, you're right.
Else is very good. And to discount him as, it's a valid point to make that point that he doesn't have the best V-taper, but to say that he's going to be 8th at the Olympia, I think is like way over the edge. And I'm sure Ciccherillo was just responding to an attack back at him, but
for an effect, for effect.
Yeah, effect. But I think that I think probably if he thought about it and handicapped Nick Walker's physique, he's very capable of pushing anyone. I said after the wrap up at the Arnold, you asked me, Derek was right there. I just like, it was just right out. It was just a gut feel. You asked, can he win the Olympia? I didn't say yes. I said there's 4 people can win it. And I wasn't even thinking Walker, because I think factor in Nick Walker potentially. I mean, to say that he's like a has-been is like hyperbole to the nth degree.
He's had a couple misfortunate, occurrences over the last 2 years, which obviously takes him out of people's, favorite column. That's what happened.
He had an injury that kept him out, and he had, just a poor start to a big prep that kept him out.
Yeah.
So minus out the poor prep, discounted the injury, because an injury could have happened to anyone in the top echelon. Anyone hurt the last few weeks. He's a factor in the sport. But it goes back to, Dave, all these quips that I know you don't believe it, Dave. I just know you don't. And I tell people, I don't follow bodybuilding on Instagram because it has an impact on what you want to do. And the same is true for bodybuilders. And I know at the top level, most people live on Instagram morning, noon, and night, seeing what this guy said, seeing what that guy said. Nothing matters. But all that stuff, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are the top 3 at the recent Arnold. Any one of those 3, if they are looking at negative stuff, and you don't have to look far to find negative stuff about you. If you look at negative stuff, it has an impact on the way you prep for the show.
Yeah.
I don't care which top 3 at the Arnold or the Olympia say, no, it doesn't. It does. It does. It does.
Yeah, I think, but part of Nick's appeal, I think, is that he does have a social media presence. He's a big personality on social media. He makes a lot of money from social media, and I think for him, I hope he's not taking this stuff seriously. I hope he's playing along with the gags.
Even if, Dave, you can put the stuff out. You can put the stuff out. Just don't read anything.
Don't read the comments, right? You're right.
Don't ever read the comments, and don't look for validation from people who have commentary on the sport, including from me and you. I would not listen to what I or you have to say in a run up to a show, because it all has only a negative impact on you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you can put the comment back up there, Sid, if you want. Someone's asking about the fact that Bob claims to be the athlete's rep and therefore shouldn't make comments about the athletes. First of all, he's not the athlete's rep. There is no athlete's rep. Okay, so I know he was the athlete's rep at one point. I went back and forth with him over this a year ago. I'm not going over it again. He's not the athlete's rep. He's a commentator. Okay, he's the MC at the show, obviously, but he's a commentator online. He's been doing it for a number of years. I would consider him someone who's knows bodybuilding. Obviously, he's watched a lot of shows. He's competed for a long time. He's entitled to opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but he's entitled to his opinion. And you know what? You're right. Nick should not be responding to that opinion because it doesn't matter. Now, if he's doing it because it helps his social media and he's doing it for media attention, that's cool. I think that I don't think Nick is being negatively affected by this, because I think he's playing along with this because It's interesting. It's drawing attention to him. Let's face it. Milos said it to us best once. Milos did like 100 shows like in a 3-year period. He was doing every single show, one after the other, and he was doing really good. And then he took a break. He's like, I'm going to take a break. And he said, I can never get back into that rhythm again after that big break I took. And it was like, I just couldn't get back to where I was. I don't know what it was. He goes, sometimes when you step away, it's hard to get back into that momentum back. Nick's been away from the stage for quite a while. I mean, yes, he did do the New York Pro to qualify last year, but he was not at his best. I think he's going to have a problem stepping back in and being at his best. It might take a couple shows for him to work the rust out. And I don't think it's a bad idea for him to do a few shows and not worry about what people thinks about him in these 2 shows, even if he doesn't do his best, because he needs to work that rust out. He's not been stage savvy. This is a guy who competed a lot prior to, that hamstring injury going into the Olympia. He might need a few shows to get back to his old form. What do you think about that?
There's always, I mean, that is a valid point. There's 2 valid points there. It's hard when you've been out to get into that prep mode where you find your rhythm, the rhythm that you used to have. And that's really it. It's just a matter of, I think, getting the rhythm, which, it's easy to talk about, I can find my rhythm. But it's, anyone who's prepped for a show, they've had different shows where they've been so honed in on their goal that, their house could blow up and they just go stay at the Super 8 for the last 8 weeks. That's the honed in you have to be for, getting ready for a show. And sometimes it's hard to find that stride when you've been out. That it's kind of like a killer instinct. Nothing's bothering me. So,
yeah.
I mean, he would know better than anyone himself.
I just think that Nick should be aware that when you step back into the arena that's as competitive as it is today, this is not a weak bunch of guys that are out there now. There's some killers out there now, from the Andrew Jackson, Sampsons, and Derek Lunsfords and Hotties, and there's a lot of great guys out there right now. And so, if you step back into this competition and you don't, win the next show, I know he's going to be at the Pittsburgh in 10 weeks. I don't think he should be too upset. I think he should just put his head to the grindstone and say, you know what? I'm not going to be back in one show. It might take 2 or 3 shows, but I'm going to knock out New York Pro. I'm going to do Pittsburgh. I'm going to do whatever comes after that just to qualify for the Olympia. And I'm not going to worry about whether I'm at my best or not, because by the time I get qualified and get to the Olympia and I have 2-3 shows under my belt, I'm going to be back to where I was at the peak of my powers. And that's what he should be looking to do. He shouldn't be trying to be a one-hit wonder at this point, or what's going to happen is he's putting too many eggs in one basket. And if he comes off, he gets to the Pittsburgh and he's like, I'm not really at my absolute best again. I'm going to drop out of this show. He's going to, number one, mess with his psyche. And number 2, he's going to make the fans go even crazier on him and say, this guy can't even show up at a show. He keeps backing out and having excuses. So don't worry about it, Nick. Just compete. Don't worry about what these idiots think. Do it for yourself. You will get back to where you were. It might not happen in one show, though. That's my 2 cents. But I think that Bob has the right to say whatever he wants. So does Sean Ray. You might not like what Sean Ray says, but he definitely has the right to say it. It's free speech. All right. Speaking of free speech, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a few things to say too. Maybe Sid, can you pull that clip where Arnold was talking about men's physique? And I don't know, a lot of men's physique guys got upset about it, and I'm not really exactly sure why. Arnold was basically commenting at the Sunday seminar about the fact that he also did on the live broadcast that he felt that the men's physique guys should be wearing like posing trunks so that their legs could be evaluated too. He felt like it wasn't a true division if you weren't evaluating legs. Now, Bob came back at him and basically I saw Bob's comment. Bob said, we do look at the legs. And I'm not going to get to that argument with him again, because we did that last year again, arguing about if they evaluate legs or not. Obviously, if the legs are covered, it's hard to evaluate them,
As much as seeing the guys that come out with this Bermuda shorts all the way down to the knees, and I have no idea why the federation makes them hide only one part of the body, which is from the waist to the knees. I mean, think about that. What is that about? Why can we not just have them have regular posing trunks? Their thighs were good, right? The quadriceps was cut. The calves were good. I mean, not everyone, but I mean, it was good. So why hide it? You know, I was just concerned that one day they come out and they say, "Okay, you guys have to wear pajamas when you go out there," or something like that. I said, "Oh God."
That's the next division, the pajama division. We haven't got to that one yet, Arnold. No, but look, he's right. You know what? But it doesn't mean they're going to change it. You know, it would be cool if they can make the shorts a little higher. Let's evaluate the thighs a little bit more and the legs. I don't see why that would be a bad thing. That could, you know, the evolution of men's physique is just as important as the evolution of classic, the evolution of the men's open division. And I could see it happening in the future. I don't know if it's going to happen next year, but I think Arnold makes a valid point. He's also free speech. He can say whatever he wants. I didn't take it as an insult to the division. Did you?
I hate that we have to say free speech, like.
But he has an opinion. Why can't he give his opinion? How is that disrespectful?
Preface it with it's just his opinion. You know,
yeah.
My opinion is that this division, in an odd way, helps carry the entire NPC. In that, if Dave and Chris have a show in Florida and we have open, classic, and men's physique,
right,
we want a good turnout in the audience, and we want a good competitor turnout in terms of numbers.
Yeah,
the men's physique is going to carry our show. You're going to
the bikini will probably carry, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's going to help.
Why I did not include bikini.
Yeah.
So the men's physique is clearly going to have the greatest number of competitors. It's clearly going to have, for each competitor, they're going to bring, you know, whatever family members and friends to help sell the, you know, the venue out. So this division right now is not only growing, but you have to ask the competitors themselves. You know, that's a question for the competitors that, you know, at the upper echelon. What do you guys think? Are you content with the judging criteria? And are you content with what you wear to display your physique to the judges?
Right.
You know, the problem is, if you make that change to show the entire body, you know, the whole criteria changes.
Oh yeah,
which
absolutely.
might not be a bad thing, but at the same time, you've established, you know, sometimes
you might have to do it in small increments, like just shorten the shorts a little bit, you know. But Ali Bilal expressed
sometimes when you're having success, clearly this division is having in terms of turnout. You don't want to fiddle with something that's working really well.
Well, they did shorten the shorts already. They're shorter. They're much shorter than when they started. Remember, they used to be down to over to the knees.
I remember the way they were.
Yeah. I think I like them the way they are now because they do fit form-fitting. Ali Bilal would have won the Arnold whether they had his legs showing or not because the guy had great legs. But I don't know why he was. I mean, maybe you know. I don't know if you talked to him because I mean you're obviously coaching him now. He was very upset and he felt that it was disrespectful. He kind of thought the prize money was lower than it was, but then he corrected himself. And he said he wasn't going to do the Arnold anymore because of that. So I'm not really following what his problem was with Arnold's comments. But I mean, he can, you know, say whatever he wants. He's also the number 2 guy in the world. He'll probably win the Olympia this year, so he doesn't really need to do the Arnold anymore. But I was just wondering what it was that got him so upset about what Arnold said.
Whatever he said.
Well, the fact that he actually complimented Ali's legs. He said Ali's got the best legs up there. So. And he would still be the winner, but I don't know why he felt that it was a disrespect to the Arnold to the show itself.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure it out.
Any special insight because I've not talked with him on.
Yeah.
On it. Otherwise, my quote opinion because I have free speech.
Yeah.
I would say if I knew anything more than what he said there, say it.
Yeah. I asked Ollie when we were interviewing him right after the show. I said, "So how much did you win?" And he's like, "I don't know." And he was serious. Like, you know how some guys pretend? He really didn't know how much money he won. He had no clue. I asked him after the interview too. He said, "I really don't know." And so and you said, what was it, 25 grand he won?
Yeah, but that's not enough either. It's
Well,
not.
Considering that the men's open makes 500,000, I can understand why that they would feel that. But that's the most, prize money anywhere. Where, maybe there's like one or two shows you can win a little bit more, but that's a pretty nice chunk of change. But you're right; it should probably be 100 grand for men's physique.
Well, I mean, it's 20 times what the men's open bodybuilder won.
Right, but that's always the case with every division aside from men's open.
I know, but here's the problem, Dave. I just told you that this division
there it is. That's the interview. Yeah, we did with him.
Is carrying the NPC. It is.
Right, it's carrying the NPC, but it's not carrying the IFBB.
Yeah, but guess what? One feeds into the other.
Right.
One feeds directly into the other.
Well, the right guy won the Arnold, so I mean, I'm not sure why the right guy who won the Arnold is upset about winning the Arnold or anything that Arnold said, because he didn't say anything bad about him. So that's the only thing I'm a little.
Well, maybe in Ali's defense, and I haven't spoken with him. Maybe he was speaking on behalf of his fellow competitors.
Yeah, that could be. That could be.
Maybe even though he made a mistake and it's not 10-25, maybe he was talking on behalf of the other competitors.
Yeah, I have this like sneaking suspicion that he doesn't even really know what Arnold said. I don't think he ever listened to what Arnold. I think he was told what Arnold said, and he might have, knee jerked and did a response because, like you said, he felt as the winner of the show he needed to represent the whole men's physique division. And let's face it, the men's physique guys like the division. I don't think anyone's complaining about the way it is right now, and I think it's way better than it ever has. You want to play that clip, Sid, or? I don't know.
Men's physique was stupid division, and you don't know why IFBB created it. It just killed the whole happy vibes for me. I don't know why. So I've decided this was my last ever Honor Classic. I'm not going to go to a show where my division, where I get treated with disrespect. I don't think it's fair that an open division get 500,000. Classic gets 60K and a men's physique division only get 10,000.
We got 25.
It's not fair, We prep as hard as the classic guys or the open guys. We train as hard. We bring a good conditioning. We bring a good physique. If you just go to Middle East or whatever Asian countries, if you see how popular men's physique is, it's crazy. It brings so much money. Just see my reach. When I post a video or some open guy post a video. Nothing against anyone. It gets a crazy reach. It's very, very popular division. I'm not saying it's one of the most popular, but it's a very popular division. And, I'm going to go to shows like Pittsburgh Pro, New York Pro, which are big shows where we get treated with respect that we deserve because we really work hard for this one. Imagine you prepping for 16 weeks and then you go to a show and someone tell you, oh, who invited you here, we don't even like you. It doesn't feel good, I think. So I just want to say my opinion. I don't care what whoever thinks about it. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, that was his interpretation. I don't think that Arnold was saying that it was a bad division. If Arnold didn't like the division, he wouldn't have had it at the show. There was only 3 men's divisions, there. He could have picked another, division and run with it. So
somebody in these comments probably know what Arnold said verbatim.
Well, I think no. I got what Ollie said that.
No, not what Ali said.
But I think I understand what Ollie was felt that Arnold was goofing on the division by saying it's like they're gonna have the pajamas. They're gonna have him come out in pajamas. I think he felt like he was foo-fooing it. I didn't really pick up that vibe from Arnold, but I think that Arnold was trying to send a message to the powers that be. Hey guys, maybe you can change it a little bit. Maybe you can make those shorts a little shorter. I think that was the intent. I don't think the intent was to insult the competitors. I think the intent was to send a message to the people that run the organization. which I can understand why they might be upset with that, but I wouldn't. The competitors really shouldn't be upset. I mean, Arnold still did provide a venue for these guys to compete, get a lot of publicity, make a lot of money, and so it is what it is. Look, you're not going to like what everyone says. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And but we love Ali Bilal. I mean, the guy has got a great personality. He's got a great story, and you know what? I'm sure his popularity is not going to hurt or suffer at all by those comments. So, is he going to compete in the Pittsburgh and New York though?
Pittsburgh and New York, yeah.
Wow, that's laying on the line. He doesn't really need to do that. What was his impetus for doing those shows?
He likes to compete. He likes to build a brand. He likes to be competitive, and
good, good for him. I love it. I love the fact that he's willing to lay it on the line like that, because a lot of guys win the Arnold and they shut it down to the Olympia, and then they try to, or some guys don't only do one show a year. That's great that he's laying it on the line for some of the most competitive shows. But I guess at this point, who could beat him, right? I mean, he's beaten the best of the best. The only guy he hasn't beaten, Ryan Terry, who won the Olympia again, is probably not competing again until the Olympia, right? I'm assuming. So
yeah, that's going to be the big storyline for
yeah.
forward. Yeah. A big storyline. I don't know if it's the storyline, but
I'm sure Ryan Terry is thrilled that Ali Bilal is doing all these shows. He's probably like, I hope he does 25 shows and wears himself down. He doesn't know that Ali Bilal walked from Afghanistan to Greece. I don't think competing in a few shows is going to wear this kid down.
Strike while you can.
Yeah. You're never wearing Ali Bilal down, that's for sure. Aaron will be at the Pittsburgh too. Good. You know what? Because Chris and I were talking about that. Aaron Banks at the night show looked unbelievable.
Yes, he did.
He's a former Olympia champ. So, I mean, if anyone can challenge Ali, Aaron Banks certainly can.
Yeah. Very competitive.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a beautiful physique. So it'll be interesting to see. Look, you know what? I like the fact that these guys are laying on the line, and competing against each other many times a year. I'm sure Aaron Banks is not thrilled that Ali Bilal is going to be there, but I'm sure I know Aaron is a real competitive guy. So if he's going to win that show, he'd love to beat Ali Bilal in the process. The only problem is that Ali can go in there and he might sweep the New York Pro and the Pittsburgh again. And then Aaron Banks has got to do another show to try to qualify. So it'll be interesting what happens. Are you going to be attending all those shows?
And allow the athletes now to sell the qualifications like we're selling visas.
Yeah, like the golden visa. They should be able to sell pro cards. These like bikini model girls that win a pro card, they should be able to sell a pro card to like an open bodybuilder. Hey, I'm going to sell you my pro card.
Not to get political, Dave, but I said if we're going to sell visas, why can't people who are born in this country sell their citizenship for $5 million to someone that's here? I'm moving to your country. You're moving to my country.
Yeah.
$5 million, and I'll go, retire.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. You should at least by being born in the U.S., you should have something that's tangible, right, Chris, that you could actually monetize. And if you want,
you'd be interviewing bodybuilders and saying, "Let's get so and so on the show." No, he's living in like Bangkok now.
Yeah, the problem is you got to find someone in a country that you actually want to go to live in that wants to come here. You could wind up in Timbuktu, too. Also,
I mean, if it should be that you can pick and choose where you want to go. It doesn't have to be country for country. If somebody wants to come from India,
right?
John Smith can sell them his citizenship.
Someone will start a service, Chris. Huh? Like there'll be a service online where you can go online. It's like how you can trade shit. It'll be like one of the trade shows.
Like Match.com. Like
you put your what countries you're looking to go to, and then you put I got a citizenship up for sale or for trade, and I'll trade you, that kind of thing. And you can put a price on it. It'd be like eBay almost. You could eBay your citizenship off. You should be able to do that with a pro card too.
Trade it, sell it.
There you go. Dave is a gay Jewish mummy. That's a new one. That's original. Let me put this up here. I like this. I'm a gay Jewish mummy. That's an interesting combination. Gay Jewish mummy. I like it. Very good use of adjectives. Okay. So you sent me some pictures. Well, you know, before I get into the pictures you sent me, I want to pull up this picture of this kid, this 19-year-old freak. There's always a new guy on the block.
Yeah.
What do you think about this kid?
Oh, he's tremendous.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Look at that leg from the side.
I know. I can't believe he's 19. How do you get? Look at that back. How do you get that kind of development at 19?
Oh,
Crazy. Albertus Krenikis.
Another Brazilian, I think.
Is he Brazilian?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, possibly. How does Fued get all? Fued finds all these guys and gets on the payroll right away. He's smart. This is when he was 18.
If you give up on your dreams,
Very impressive.
Yeah.
That's called genetics. Look how wide, look how broad his shoulders are, right? He's really wide too. Small waist.
He beat Sam Sulak for sure.
Oh, absolutely. He actually looks like your son a little bit from behind here.
Yeah, he's balanced. He's round. He's full.
Yeah.
Paper. He's got the quads. Yeah. Bob would have him in the Olympia probably this year. Men's Open.
I'm like, yeah. He could win the Olympia this year. Exactly. Unbelievable. There's a lot of freaks out there on the block. I love the fact that he's Lithuanian. Is that what Sid said? Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, he's not Brazilian?
Sid I saw Sid put in the comments, Lithuanian. Is he Lithuanian, Sid? Yes.
The only time, Dave, you and I heard of Lithuania when we were kids is in the Winter Olympics.
There you go. You're right. Do you remember the city in Lithuania that they held it at?
No. Was it there? I just remember there were always skiers from there. There in
Oh, that was Lahti. You know, I was actually at Lahti, Finland, for a couple pro shows that they had there.
Right, I remember.
KP or Orama held it there.
Yep.
I saw the ski lift or the ski jump right in Lahti there. Very nice. All right. Let's put this Sid put this up on RX Muscle. I want to post this question. I want to get your opinion on it because I like your opinions. Who stands the best chance at winning their first Mr. Olympia title in 2025?
Andrew Jack.
Yeah, I would say 100%.
You know me, Dave. This is a work in progress, and you know what you see is not what you're going to get going forward because he keeps getting better. And if you minus out, I know it's a very big asterisk. If you minus out, I know it's horrible excuses, but if you minus out the two Olympias,
Right.
he went from Arnold Classic, diced out of his mind, third place, and I know he was in second after the prejudging. I'll let you know that. Ahead of Nick Walker.
Mm-hmm.
By a point, I heard. I can't confirm that. I heard that. I don't know if it's true. And I didn't hear it from a judge, but I hear it from, there's some people you hear stuff from. And then he went to Texas #1. Then the next year, Texas #2. And then this Arnold. I will say that Martin has a great mindset, and I don't know him. Nick has a great mindset, and I don't know him. I just think Andrews has the ideal mindset. And I will tell you for sure, Andrew's not scrolling around on Instagram.
No, I could barely get Andrew to talk to me at the meet the athlete.
Very, very focused.
Yeah, he is.
Art, very aware of his strengths, very aware.
Yeah.
He's just, and that's not because I know him.
Mm-hmm.
dangerous he is more dangerous from the neck up than he is from the neck down.
Yeah, very, very tough brain. Yeah, his mind is very strong.
Very, very strong. And that doesn't mean one iota. Don't read into it that Nick is not super strong and Martin's not super strong and that they're not both super confident. I just know that there's different ways to handle setbacks. And there's different approaches to handle setbacks. And Andrew does not see, let's say, third place at the Arnold as a setback. He sees it as a stepping stone to move forward and improve.
Right.
So negativity is not in his wheelhouse at all. That is crazy unique, especially in this sport.
I agree with you. Now
So,
we have the
because of that, I think like he's very dangerous going forward.
I agree. After seeing him at the Arnold, I mean, he didn't have enough to win there, but he improved enough in my mind that he's really dangerous. And I'm a big, Martin Fitzwater fan. I really thought he looked amazing at Olympia, and I thought he looked, great when he beat Bumstead at that open show. And
Well, there too.
he's made a lot of improvements. And I was talking to him at the Arnold, and he seems like he's put a lot of size on too, even from just this past 2 months ago. So I suspect he's going to be really good, but I don't know if he can beat Andrew Jack. He probably has better legs than Andrew, but I think Andrew is just so big now. He's so massive. It's really hard to stand next to this guy. And
well, I would say if you backtrack to the Arnold, if Derek looked like he did at the previous, let's say 2 shows, I don't think he would necessarily get by Andrew. It would have been more of a matchup between Samson, who's gigantic, and Cedric. My goodness, I was going to say Cedric because I see my glasses, I see the blindfold, and Andrew. So, all three are coming. All these guys are coming into their own. Derek's coming into his own. Samson's coming into his own. Andrew's coming into his own. Martin's coming into his own. And I think Nick Walker's already been into his own. He just hasn't got a chance to get back on stage.
Right.
And it's bodybuilding aficionados have a very short memory, and because Nick's not been on stage, I think they forget or discount his abilities.
Yeah. Well, this guy makes a point that Andrew just turned 42. I don't know if that's the case or not. It probably is. But you know what? Sean Roden won the Olympia at 43. So, and Andrew started late, so I don't really give any credibility to age at this level. I think it looks like Andrew's been making leaps and bounds of progress over the last couple of years, and I don't think that it's going to stop at this point. He's healthy. His body is fresh. He started late. Like I said, I think he's going to keep improving.
You go back and look at, say, like the back double of Andrew when he got his pro card, or the back double. That's a big body. When he won the first Texas Pro to now, it looks like different people.
Yeah, night and day.
And that's in a 3-year span. So his trajectory is and don't let the age fool you simply because, Kamal won it when he was 48.
Yeah.
John won it when he was 43. And
Ronnie wasn't a young chicken either. Remember, Ronnie started late. Ronnie won his pro card after training for 1 year, in 91. And then he won the Olympia in 98, 7 years later. He was improving by leaps and bounds, and he was not young at that point. So he was in his 30s, when he first started.
And some people have been around. They could be 32, 33. They've been training for 12 years and using gear for 12 years.
Right.
So, their quote age is a lot different age than somebody who's been fresh their whole life, even if they're chronologically an older age.
Sure. I mean, that was Rodin's forte too, because Rodin was natural for many years, and then
Mick Jagger's Canadian. He's still selling out concerts.
No, but the guys that started late that were natural, Ronnie was natural, Rodin was natural, Kai Green was natural for many, many years. And then when they started the gear, so they didn't have a lot of, you always said this, and I think, and I have to believe that you're right. The younger you start gear, the younger your career ends usually. It's like you have a lifespan on gear for some reason. It's like you just don't respond after a while. And so the longer you can prolong taking it, the better off you are, and the longer your career will go. Does that make sense?
Makes 100% sense.
Yeah. A lot of these guys take it real young, and they're phenoms at like 22, and then they just never really get that much better, you know. So, and then there are guys that use small amounts when they're young, and that's pretty much equivalent to not using stuff if you're using very small amounts. And then when they amp it up to like, you know, the levels that, you know, you need to be at the top level, that's when really the gear aging starts. But I think you're right. I think at some point you just don't respond anymore, and you burn out your receptors. So we'll see what happens to these guys. I think Andrew's got another 5-6 years of making improvements and being at his best. So we'll see if my prediction comes true. Fued shows at the end of the month. Detroit Pro. Okay. I like that he got on the schedule. So, you know, as an early show, because I think we're going to see a lot of the guys from the Arnold jump in that show. What do you think, Sid? Do we have a preliminary list of who's doing the Detroit? I know Carlos Thomas is doing it. I talked to him about that. Sarah is going to try to find out who the latest and greatest was. Yeah, Vince Taylor started late too. Yeah, he was. Did he get his pro card?
I thought you were going to say Vince Taylor's doing it.
Oh, no. Yeah, he probably would jump in it. Yeah, Vince Taylor, who started bodybuilding, was 28. Yeah, I think he was like, did he turn pro in his 30s? Which was old back in the 80s. You know?
I think he was 33. I think he'd only been hard for like 3 years.
Beckles was second in 85. I think he was like 60 then. Or 58 or something like that. And Visitors will shut it down after Detroit. So no Olympia. Oh, he's not going to do the Olympia. Why would he even bother doing Detroit? So I wonder why. Doesn't make sense. I wonder who's going to do the Open. I have to imagine. Is Akeem doing the Detroit?
No, Akeem's done to the Olympia. He's qualified for the Olympia.
No, I figured maybe he'd throw one more show in there because try to get another win.
The last 2 years, ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else might do it. I guess it would pay for. I don't know. I'm not sure who we're going to see in there. Bonac and Carlos. Yeah, I know Carlos is doing it. I guess Bonac is it. I guess it would pay for Brandon Curry to do it. I don't know. Why not? But he doesn't have to qualify for the Olympia. He could win the show, though. I don't know if he was looking to win any shows. Hollingshead. All right, that's a good move. Kai Green's on it. Kai, imagine if Kai just showed up to the Detroit Pro of all.
Yes, both.
That's it. Kai should just pick like the crappiest show and just show up and say, hey, I want to compete. You know, what promoter is going to say no to this guy, you know? Be great. You know how like every once in a while you'd see like a real big rocker show up to like someone else's concert and they want to go and they ask, can I come up on stage and sing a song with you?
Dave, yeah. Break it down. Kai had pretty much an H shape. He did pretty well.
Yeah.
Did Kai have a big V? Stand and relax in the lineup. And did Kai have some wheel of V taper?
No, not at all. Because he had a very short torso. It was almost like his lats were attached to his waist, you know?
Yes, they were.
Grego and Vissers in Classic. All right. Does Grego beat Vissers?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he's past him at this point, muscle-wise?
Well, I thought he had him at the Olympia, frankly.
Yeah.
And I just think that crazy lineup in numbers, it's just hard to figure out who really is 7th through 10th or something, 6th through 10th, somewhere in that. You know what I mean? So when you narrow the field down, it's easier to 10. I think he jumped out a little bit more than he did at the Olympia, Grego. So,
I thought when I saw that poster, I thought Seth Feroci was competing. I'm like, holy mackerel. He should compete. I've been trying to get him to compete. I had him on the show when I interviewed him about a year ago. I said, why don't you make the comeback? You still look amazing. I think he's thinking about it. I don't know. You think he'll ever get back on stage?
maybe it's like you said, it's really hard.
He's a freak.
He is, but when you've competed and you have kids and you have a business, it's hard. I'm sure it's always in the back of your mind, but it's hard to put those things aside, and get back into the selfish mode because, getting ready for a show, unfortunately, you have to be a selfish person.
Right. No, you're right.
And it's really hard to be super selfish when you have kids.
Yeah.
It is.
You're right. No, you're right. 100% right. Because look, as soon as anyone who has kids can tell you how much time they take from you. That's why Haney was winning Olympias with kids. His wife should be saluted, because I'm sure she was picking up a lot of the slack. And Dorian too. Dorian had kids, right? He had his son, Lewis, when he was competing. So it can be done, but it's a challenge because even if your wife is doing most of the work, the kid still wakes up early, and and they get sick, and they get you sick, So,
how about this? Homework still has to be done. You're brain dead, and you're trying to. Beginning algebra, and you're like, I don't know algebra anymore. I got Google.
Chris, I sometimes look at my youngest daughter, 5 years old, Shayla, she's in kindergarten. She brings home this homework sometimes, and I have to read the instructions 40 times.
Yes.
And quite to be honest with you, I don't even know what they're asking. I have no clue what they're asking me to do. This is kindergarten homework I can't figure out. If
Dave has 5 apples and he gives Chris 2 apples, and Chris,
it's not that I can figure out. It's the most complicated cutting things out. I realize I can't follow directions. I don't know how to follow. I read them 40 times. I can't follow directions. I'm like, I would fail the kindergarten. I couldn't get to the first grade. Why are they giving kindergarten as homework? That's what I want to know. I have a friend who goes to another school, and they have no homework for the kindergartners. It's crazy.
I look at homework and I don't.
I don't even know what Common Core is. Said you're speaking fucking Chinese to me. They have this crazy new math system, though. They do. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My mother used to say
why they made math so complicated. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. It worked fine when we were in school. Why'd they have to change the math system?
So we can be. Oh wait, I don't want us demonetized, Dave.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I better keep my mouth shut.
In the world.
We only have 7 more minutes left for the show. I don't want to blow it with 7 minutes to go. Oh my God. Yeah, Logan's a real Jewish name, Anthony. He's like, I wonder why Dave gave his kids all Jewish names. Logan's a real Jewish name. So is Aria, by the way. I always loved the Aria Hotel in Vegas, and so I went there for the Olympia. I had to go to the Aria Hotel and get my daughter a T-shirt from the hotel that said Aria on it. But people are such idiots. Yeah, I can't do homework. I could do the homework like my son's now doing, like multiplication and division, and I could do that. That I still remember. I could add and subtract. Wait till the algebra comes, like you said. Then I'm in big trouble. I'm gonna have to start reading up online. Another name to look out for: Jack Eagle, 2nd-year pro out of the UK. A lot of hype behind him. Pull up his picture, Sid. Have you seen this guy, Chris?
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, he's got nice shape.
Yeah. Except that when they put the shorts on him down to the knee, we're not going to. Oh no, he's in classic division.
He's got good legs. This guy. He's got very good legs. I think there's more talent. I'll say that in the classic physique division than there is in the men's open division. At least new talent.
It's the numbers. It's just numbers.
It's numbers. Yeah.
If you go, me and you put on a show, and we get 20 bucks. You're going to get 2 great guys, and if we put on a classic division, we get 40. You're going to get 4.
Right. But I want to put out something to these guys who are doing classic and looking amazing like this guy. There's way more money in the open division. If you have a classic physique with a small waistline and all the bells and whistles like this guy does, or the young kid we showed you, go to the open with that physique and you will win a lot of money and a lot of shows. Why stick in classic? Who cares if it's popular? The money, Ali Bilal pointed out, the money, I mean, the guy at the classic Arnold won 60 grand. Derek won 500,000. If you have a classic, beautiful physique and you could put mass on, which those 2 young guys we just showed you obviously have, do the open division. Why? I don't know why people are limiting themselves to classic. It's like they want to stay in the smallest pond they can stay in so they can be the most dominant in that pond. Go into the open division. I'm sure if Bumstead, didn't have a health issue, an autoimmune disease, he probably would have gone into the open division. And I think he would have done very well, possibly won the Olympia a couple times with that structure and that. I mean, he won the North American, bodybuilding championships, and that's how he turned pro. He did not turn pro as a classic guy. So I would love to see a lot of these new classic guys that I'm seeing with these crazy shapes, especially the young guys in their early 20s and mid 20s. Do the open, keep growing, grow out of that division. Who cares? And do the open and win some prize money. And you know what? Bring some excitement back into the open division because we need freaks. We need guys we need wheelers in that division, and Cormiers and guys like that, Sean Ray physiques. That's going to bring the heyday back to bodybuilding. And you know what? If it's the classic division that got you guys into the pro ranks, that's fine. But now put the size on you need and do the open division. I'd like to see Logan Franklin go into the open division, quite frankly.
Just to comment on that, this idea that the heyday, I think after you look at the top 6 at this recent Arnold, now I think.
Yeah, I think the guys are getting better, yeah.
The guys are really improving. I mean, if you look at, I talked about Andrew Jack. Really, if you look at Sampson's trajectory, I remember watching the Arnold. I'll tell you what it was. What year was it 2022?
Yeah.
I remember Sampson was not in the first call out, and then they worked him up, and then they gave him some good calls, and I thought, wow, this guy's really round. He's really big, and I don't know if his condition was off for that show, or he was still coming up with size, or it was before I think he hooked up with Milos, but he got really good calls once a show started along, and like I said, he was left first call.
Yeah.
And 22, 23, 24, 25, in 3 years, he's put on a ridiculous amount of muscle.
Yeah.
So in terms of the guys are getting better, that trajectory also, I keep talking about Andrew Jack, but that trajectory is straight up as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the guys are really, that was a tremendous top 6 at the Arnold, I think. Probably the best ever.
In the Arnold, best ever at the Arnold, yeah, 100%, because of the depth of it. I think there were some good battles at the Arnold that we've had in the past between 2 guys, Bill Heath, Ty Green, but I think that overall, like you said, that in that top 4, there was really good competition there, and everyone was in good shape too, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So it definitely lived up to what we billed it as.
Yeah.
We billed the Arnold as possibly one of the best ever, and it lived up to the billing. Everyone came in great. There was an upset. Derek, upset Sampson. He got revenge. It was like a movie that you wanted to watch, and it worked out well. Now we get to see them battle it again at the Olympia, and it might flip flop, or maybe Hottie will win this year. So you don't even know, or maybe Andrew will come in and win the whole thing. So it really makes the plot even more exciting going into Vegas at the end of this year.
Yeah, the storylines, but the bodybuilding world's going to be on fire by the time the Olympia rolls around. With just the matchups, the potential.
Yeah. Is Sampson doing Pittsburgh? I heard a rumor.
I think he's guest posing there.
Oh, he's guest posing. Okay.
I think he's guest posing there.
Yeah. He's got nothing to prove at this point.
I'll have to look on Instagram and spend the entire night like I do, Dave. On Instagram.
I guess I know Chris. Chris is a very sneaky Instagram person. When his wife goes to bed and the kids go to bed, he gets in the bathroom and he gets on his phone and he reads everything. Yeah.
I want to find out what anyone has said about me so that I can feel bad tomorrow.
What do you think about this? 81 Danny Padilla versus Sean Clarita. Would Danny kill Sean?
Danny.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Nothing
Josky
against
Yebo, you're right.
What's that?
The guy who posted his name is Josky Yebo. He said he agreed with you. I mean, you're both going the same thing. What about Francis Benfano versus Bob Paris?
Bob at his best for sure. Bigger guy.
Yeah, I would agree on that one. I would agree.
Bob Paris spoke endlessly about classic bodybuilding division without talking about a classic bodybuilding division.
Cedric did the same thing.
Yeah. Well, Cedric said Cedric predicted they would have to start one.
Yeah.
And he also said, just because you can pull a vacuum, that doesn't mean you have a classic physique.
That's right. Bob Paris versus Logan Franklin.
Oh, Bob Paris.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my goodness, is that it up for debate? Logan's got a killer physique.
You just said Bob Paris would beat him, though.
Yeah, I did. Is that up for?
I don't know. I don't remember Bob Paris at his best. You do.
Yeah.
We got a tip coming in. The Aceto Enterprise did what the Rambod unit couldn't. Long live the technician. No hate for Rambod, but the cream rises to the top. We're back, baby.
My grandmother could prep Derek. but only I can prep Akeem.
What do you think about this? Dave, if Bob Chick said that Nick couldn't get a card, isn't he dissing 90% of the current pros, the so-called athletes rep? Did he say that? I think he said that because why? Because he won the North American and he didn't win the USA? Is that what he said? I don't know. I don't think so. He's not the athletes rep, so he's a commentator, so he can say whatever he wants. All right, Keon Pearson versus Lee Priest. That's a tough one.
The fact that I have to wait long to think it through to get to one of
it's a hard one.
Best bodies, it's hard because when in shape, Lee Priest was a little freak.
Yeah.
Keon is better.
Keon has the glutes and hamstrings and everything like that Lee didn't have.
Which he'd definitely beat Lee on the back double, back lat spread. He'd beat him, but not by much when Lee's in shape.
Yeah.
Lee's got the horse leg from the side.
Those side poses are really good on Lee.
Tricep is a knockout. Abs and thigh shape was like as good as anyone's.
Yeah.
Anyone's. Most muscular, freaky. Front double, absolutely nuts. I'd probably go with, at his best, Lee Priest.
Wow. All right. Lee's going to be your number one fan now. What is this? Another tip? Oh, our good friend John over at Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. $10. Wow. Does Chris do interviews? I'd love to get him on my channel. Oh, now that we got bribes coming in, Chris, to get you on get you on the channel. he bribed me $10 to get you to go on his channel for an interview.
You can ask me something here. This is my interview.
John's a good guy. Top 5 posers to ever do it. I put Kai Green and Sean Ray both in it. Do you, Chris?
I would put Kai, Sean, Bob Paris, Phil Hill. Logan Franklin's got to be in the top 12.
He was good. Yeah, that's a good routine. Cedric was great.
Ben Fodder when he's on the money.
Melvin Anthony, one of my favorites.
Is
Flex Wheeler great too.
Is Vince Taylor.
Yeah.
Value.
King Kamali.
I was just going to say King Kamali in case he's watching, in case he feels left out. I have Logan ahead of you, King. I'm just
Nasser Al-Somebody today. How does he do? Does he win the Olympia?
Does he win the Olympia? He's a factor.
Yeah. It's hard to, without seeing him next to these guys, it's hard to judge.
Immediately, I went to how would he do against Samson, and Samson would beat him.
Yeah.
Because he's, I was just trying to think in terms of big.
Yeah.
Who's big next to that big?
Everyone always said, they're always saying how great Ed Corney was. And I think the reason why everyone said Ed Corney's posing was so good because Arnold was in Pumping Iron was saying how great Ed Corney was. Ed Corney was good, but he wasn't good like some of these other guys we see today. I mean, it was almost, he was like corny good. No pun intended. Ed Corney.
Yeah, I'd say this too. I'd say that most of the guys at the Arnold had really good routines. Because I think there was a period where nobody did a routine. There was this weird period, I don't know what it was, 7-8 years ago, where just mostly were average. And I think people put a lot of effort into their routine.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't do that anymore. Last question, Chris, before we wrap up, another one from John Livia. Why does it seem like bodybuilders jump on the trend for the hot new coaches? First it was Matt Jensen, now boss of Outlaw. What's your take on that, Chris?
It's like it's some of it is I think a stock. People want to buy the stock that's always going up. And then as soon as the stock rolls over and starts to go down, people sell it and jump ship.
Yeah.
And to some degree, that's true with bodybuilding coaches, where, you get some success and some hype. Success builds hype, hype builds more hype, and people say, I'm going to have this guy as my coach.
Yeah, but that's I think it's marketing. Let's face it. Why do people buy these supplements that suck on the market? Because of marketing. Look, what I do is when I go to stores like Target, health food stores that are just random stores. I just go in there and I look at the latest and greatest what's out there because that's my job, right? Because I own a nutrition company, and I'll buy stuff that catches my eye. Like this looks like it could be a good bar. I like the way they're marketing it. It looks nice and everything like that. The packaging, and I'll buy it. I'll take it home. 90% of the time, it's shit. I can't even eat. I can't believe how terrible it tastes. But every once in a while, I catch something that's actually pretty good and it's a good idea, and I might love it up. But what happens is people feel like they got to jump on the latest marketing idea, and whoever does something spectacular uses that and they market it, and then people say, well, I got to get this guy. He must know something that this other guy doesn't know. And the problem is that the guys that have been around the longest, and have been doing it consistently year after year after year, those are the guys that you really want to go to, because those are the guys that they don't have to do flashy stuff. They don't have to market you to get you to be in the best shape of your life, because they know what they're doing. And that's Chris, You know, guys like Hani been around. You know, George, as much as we break his balls. You know, me. There's a lot of guys that have just been doing this a very, very long time, and those are consistent. You know, are there other guys that are good? Yeah, there's good guys, but don't just jump on the latest bandwagon, because for most people, especially if you're jumping ship from someone who's actually doing good for you, you're going to be very disappointed, and you're going to wind up then crawling back to the old coach. But like I said, everyone has the ability to, go with who they want. Chris, without mentioning names, has your phone been blowing up with pro bodybuilders since the Arnold Classic? There you go, right on it.
No, not really.
The problem is no one has Chris's number, so he doesn't give it out to anyone. And when people Instagram him, he doesn't answer. I know you, Chris. Sometimes I have to say, Chris, can you answer this guy, please?
Funny story is I just looked back. People contacted me like on Instagram because I didn't know where the message, where you can message. I didn't know there was a message element on Instagram.
Yeah, me. I didn't for years. I didn't do anything with Instagram. Yeah.
So a couple people who people know messaged me like, "Oh, good job at the Arnold," and because now I know where the message is, and I clicked on it, and there's a message from 2022, like, "Can you help me with my prep? I'm getting ready for it," and I didn't. On because I didn't know that button existed.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Well, didn't what's his name, Ali Bilal, contact you years ago too?
Yeah, and I said I was busy.
Chris. On that note, we're going to wrap up. Thank you guys for joining us live as always. We'll be back again next week, and as we say every week with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
have a great one.